Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know With the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. Good Monday morning, everyone. It's 51 degrees, 97% humidity, and very still out this morning. Powered by Soy Biodiesel. Last week, I headed out to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting's annual meeting in Kansas City, Missouri. Yes, there were lots of great speakers to gather information from. You'll find out more about those interviews coming up in the next several days. But powered by Soy Biodiesel, I set the trip odometer as I started out on the trip. 600 miles into the trip, I was still averaging 29.9 miles a gallon on a GMC half-ton Duramax diesel. At 1,202 miles into the trip, I was averaging 29, and the last 300 miles of the trip into Kansas City across Flat, Missouri, I averaged 30.8 miles per gallon. So, if you want to check into fuel economy, that's my fun game, and it looks like biodiesel B20 was the answer for that trip. In other notes, Jess Blanford entered the 2023 National Wheat Yield Contest on a whim. The Baker City, Oregon farmer entered the 2024 contest with a goal to win. His enthusiasm paid off. Blanchford took home the win in the irrigated spring wheat category, earning the Ben Buster title with 174.74 bushels per acre of Westbred WB 6341, a soft white spring wheat variety. I had so much fun with the contest in the previous year that I actually tried this year, he said, noting that his 2023 entry garnered first place with 164.5 bushels per acre. The National Wheat Yield Foundation contest is designed to encourage wheat growers to strive for high yield, quality, and profit while trying new and innovative management strategies. Blanford Farms is in the high desert country of eastern Oregon. He estimates farming occupies about 20,000 acres of the small valley that he farms in, and we have more cattle in the county, he said, than we have people. It's also a good climate for wheat. We were hot this summer with 10 days above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but we only had 3 nights all summer long that it didn't drop below 60 degrees, he said. Low winter temperatures and a dry climate take most of the wheat disease issues out. A seed treatment is used, and the routine fungicide treatment goes out to head off potential issues with rust. The valley only receives 6 to 8 inches of rainfall each year, but irrigation balances the scale. In total, Blanchford applies 18 to 20 inches of water to the crop through sprinklers. The water comes from mostly deep wells with some mountain water in the spring and early summer. About 5 years ago, the field corn entered into the rotation as a short-season hybrid became available, 78 to 80 days relative maturity, and it made genetic advancements. The wheat contest field was planted to potatoes in 2022, corn in 23, and spring wheat tends to be planted behind corn since the corn harvest comes late in the season. We soil test to make sure what's left and base applications on that. While the climate may be right for wheat, weather is also the biggest challenge, he said. We can get frost any month of the year. We've had late June frost take potatoes back down to the ground level. We've had frost in August. Fortunately, they usually don't happen in the same year, but we definitely have a short season, he said. Access to 200,000 bushels of on-site grain storage helps streamline harvest and allows the flexibility to deliver when time and markets allow. So he won in 23, but came back with the idea of winning in 24, changed the practices, and it paid off. Congratulations to Jess Blanford in Oregon. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
We've got a weather pattern that's set to change this week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at the forecast update. Here in Ohio, we're going to start off like we have been the past couple of weeks. Temperatures above normal for this time of year. We're going to be dealing with some on-again, off-again clouds for your Monday, but looks like the best cloud cover is going to be a little bit farther to the west. I won't rule out a few spits and sprinkles in northwest and north-central Ohio late this afternoon into this evening, but I do think that most of the state is dry here today. Now, getting into tomorrow, Cold front comes through, going to give us some scattered showers. At this point, 1/4 to 1 inch of potential here. Coverage about 80 to 90% of the state. We do see a secondary batch of moisture coming as the cold front finally clears through before dawn tomorrow morning. That one only a few hundredths. But the cold air doesn't come right away. It really looks to me like the transition is going to be coming midday to afternoon on Wednesday, and then we're going to follow that up with a very chilly finish to the week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're seeing cold air dominate here as an upper level low just circulates over the Great Lakes. That's going to put wraparound cloud cover and moisture in here, on again, off again rain, and even a few wet snowflakes depending on where you are at. Temperatures below normal for the first time in a while here. So a very gray, very winter-like, early winter-like pattern as we finish out this week. I do not expect to want to be doing much outside the last part of this week. So we're going to be dealing with that. Otherwise, I don't look for any major weather issues then as we finish out the weekend and go into next week. As a matter of fact, temperatures probably moderate on a Sunday. Next week, we do see a chance of rain for Tuesday into Wednesday. Can see anywhere from 1/4 to 1 inch. Again, coverage around 75% of the Buckeye State. Colder behind that for Thanksgiving Day on Thursday, but not as cold as this week. And then we finish out the week with another round of moisture for Black Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Joining me is Andy Farnham. And Andy, good to have you back on. We're talking round 2 about irrigation. I like your topic, the way you've looked at it today, as supplemental irrigation. Explain how you view that as someone in the irrigation field.
Supplemental irrigation is we don't have to have irrigation grow a normal crop. The supplemental rainfall of adding irrigation can boost your yields by 15, 20, 30% on the ground that you've got. We get plenty of rainfall here in the Ohio area. We just don't get it at the right time. So the supplemental irrigation moves that rainfall from early in the spring to July, August when we need it.
Also, I thought it was interesting. You did a comparison as we've looked at some notes talking about what it takes to add irrigation to ground you already own and increasing those bushels that you're talking about versus the competition field of buying new ground. That's got to be an interesting perspective for a lot of producers.
Yeah, with the latest trends in ground, $10,000 to $15,000 an acre or more or less, it costs a lot to buy more ground to produce more bushels, whereas we can do that 15, 20% increase in production by putting irrigation on the acres you already own. And you don't have to get a bigger planter, a bigger combine, bigger sprayer. You're just increasing the production on the acres you already own for a lot less investment than buying the neighboring farm or increasing your farm.
Some might say we don't have water. That's probably a conversation they should have with you also, because there are ways to gain water on above ground storage and maybe well worth the investment as well instead of buying new ground again.
Yes, absolutely. We've talked about how we get enough rain all year long. We just don't get it at the right time. So there are absolutely ways to store that water, whether it's a reservoir or using water out of a ditch or a pond, somewhere. We don't need a lot of water. We just need it at the right time.
And for more information, you can get a hold of Andy. His email is andy@agirrigation.net. His website is simply agirrigation.net. Andy, thanks for the update.
Thank you, Dave.
Stay tuned. Back with more after this.
Since 1926, Nationwide has been rooted in agriculture. Founded as the Farm Bureau Mutual Automobile Insurance Company with a mission to protect farmers and their communities, we honor our legacy by offering solutions that evolve with the complex needs of today's farms. As the leading insurer of America's farms and trusted by 8 farm bureaus for 100 years and counting, Nationwide is on your side. Number 1 insurer based on 2023 direct written premium per AM Best. Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Hi, everyone. This is Dale Minio from the Ohio AgNet. For a 1/4 of a century, I powered my truck with biodiesel, traveling the state promoting agriculture. Biodiesel is a reliable, high-performance fuel that works in any diesel engine without modification. The best part is that with every mile driven, I'm fueling the economy, doing good for the environment, and supporting soybean farmers. Learn how using biodiesel can add value to every bushel of soybeans grown at soyohio.org. The incoming Trump administration's tax policies will have a significant influence on how interest rates move over the next few years. Trump may also disrupt the Federal Reserve by attempting to aggressively influence the Fed's decisions. Young Yu Mei, the chief investment officer of BMO Wealth Management, spoke Thursday about the outlook of interest rates at the American Bankers Association's Agricultural Bankers Conference. Mei focused on how some of the changes in federal policy under the Trump administration could affect interest rates in the future. While the Federal Reserve maintains the central bank is pushing to lower inflation to 2% annually, Mei said that's going to be hard to achieve. Inflation hasn't fallen that low, and it doesn't appear likely. Once you are in the normal growth mode, we don't think you'll be able to keep the current economy at an inflation rate around 2%. Overall, Mei said research at BMO doesn't forecast any dramatic drops in interest rates longer term. We do think interest rates are probably where they are now. The long-term rates, they're not going to go much lower, Mei said. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, in a speech Thursday in Dallas, indicated the Fed would not aggressively push more cuts without some dramatic changes in the economy. Powell said the Fed move would likely be neutral after cutting interest rates a quarter point last week. The economy is not sending any signals that would need to be in a hurry to lower rates, Powell said in his remarks. The strength we are currently seeing in the economy gives us the ability to approach our decisions carefully. Ultimately, the path of the policy rate will depend on how the economy data and economic outlook evolves. Time now for the Louis Dreyfus Grain Analysis, brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets bump a little bit as we finished out the week last Friday, but don't get too excited. It really felt like this was a bottom-picking, bargain-hunting, or profit-taking kind of scenario. For a time, we were double digits higher across all contracts in the soybean market. Gave that up into the close. Corn finishing 4 to 5 higher, beans up 8 to 11, and the wheat market's up anywhere from 4 to about 7 cents across Chicago, KC, and Minneapolis markets. What were the stories in the marketplace on Friday? What will the stories be this week? Well, a lot of it was on the demand side, concern about tariffs going forward. But on Friday, the Board of Trade climbed on a tax rebate rumor on China's used cooking oil imports. NOPA Crush report was also supportive on Friday, and we're still seeing some decent precipitation in South America. That lends itself to a large crop. Let's talk first of all about the UCO rumor. China is rumored to be adjusting or canceling its used cooking oil tax rebate, as it has also done in aluminum. That all happened on Friday morning. We're told that on December 1st, China will either reduce the UCO tax rebate to 9% from the current 13% or eliminate it altogether. Confirmation is going to have to be coming here sometime soon, but on Friday, soy oil prices rallied sharply on the potential for increased cost. Whether cash UCO prices rise to offset the cost of the tax increase is unknown at this point, but that was the story that really got this market excited. It led to, let's first of all talk about soy oil. Brokers estimate that 6,300 contracts were bought on the soy oil. That led to 6,200 contracts of corn being purchased, to 5,900 contracts of beans. And hey, wheat didn't want to get left out, 4,500 contracts there. For the first time since mid-September, we had no daily export sales reported for corn, beans, oil, or wheat. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Jumping into the overnight, December corn unchanged at $4.24. March down a half a cent, $4.34 3/4, and next May's down 3/4 at $4.42. The January soybeans down 6 1/4, trading $9.92 1/4. March $10, 1 3/4 down 7, and next May down 7 3/4 at $10.14 1/4. December wheat up 2 1/4 overnight at $5.38 3/4. Next July new crop up 2 3/4 at $5.72 3/4. In livestock on Friday's close, December cattle unchanged at $182.95. February up 15 at $185.25. December lean hogs down 60 cents at 79.50. February down 87 at 82.90. January feeder cattle up $4.02 to $247.22. March feeder cattle up $3.92 at $245.65. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Dale Minyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.